Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a bench press day. Overall pretty happy with the day. I did feel like my incline work capacity is struggling at the moment, and I think it's just due to overall carbohydrate intake. Probably need a little more carbohydrate. I'm not counting macros directly other than my protein numbers, but I am eating a lot of fat and my carbs are a little lower. So it may be a case of I should probably add a little rice or something to my diet every day, particularly on lifting days or the evenings before, mainly just because it would help my work capacity overall. For those curious, as I've kind of said, I'm doing a lot of nuts and a lot of nut butter with a lot of animal proteins. I could probably drop that peanut butter out and just start doing a little bit of rice in place of it, right? Chicken and rice, steak and rice, vegetables, all that stuff. But again, protein is going to tend to be the dominant macronutrient when I'm cutting right now. But cutting's going good. I thought the other day in that video, I'm like, oh, it's just because of the dim lighting that I look the way that I look, right? Because I had the door closed because it was really windy out, some cold wind. And it's brighter today, sun is up, so I thought I'd open the door. And again, I was surprised. I think I look just as lean. Obviously, we have the waistline and loose skin love handle area, but that is slowly going down. That is shrinking. I figure another 10 pounds of fat loss, and I think the majority of that will be gone. And I based that upon my water cut. I went and dug through and found the pictures I took of my back during the last couple meets during the water cut. And yeah, my entire lower back looks nothing like that. All of that is gone. All of it when I did the water cut, just because I guess it dried it all out. So that tells me I just need to burn the fat off in that area. You know, no big deal. Pull-ups, though, I feel like that's going great. Remember when I couldn't do these at all due to my shoulder health? Now my shoulder mobility is good enough. I just do these from a dead hang. And I like to do those hangs on the start to show people, you know, because again, some people might be like, well, you're not quite going to your full range of motion. And I'm showing you guys a dead hang with me swinging. That is my range of motion. It's better than it was. It's a lot better than it was, right? We keep doing the pullovers. I feel like the pullovers have really been instrumental. Pullovers have been instrumental, big time. But I managed on the last set, I did 12 pull-ups. So I did 10, 10, and 12. And I weigh 215, and that's with my shoes and everything on. I'm 215 without the shoes, meaning that's what I wake up at. So, you know, we have those Chuck Taylors on. That's a little bit of weight, a couple pounds. Like, we want to brag about that. Yeah, that's a weighted pull-up. I got shoes on. Oh, God. Got to quit thinking about performance and think about building muscle. That's what I'm doing right now, building muscle. But looking at things as I'm getting leaner, I am starting to see, okay, where are my weakest links? Really, I think it's just triceps and pecs. I know it seems like from the side I've got a big chest, but really when I look at some of it, a lot of that is my bone structure. I've got a really big rib cage. It makes my chest itself look bigger than it is. But I know that if I want to have a bigger bench later after I finish this cut, those triceps and pecs, they have to keep coming up. But I feel like the pullovers handle that. So it's like I can do everything balanced, train balanced, and then the pullovers thrown on top of it really is weak point volume. It helps with the shoulders. It does work the pecs. You know, part of me feels like if I add any stuff, it needs to be multi-joint stuff. Another superset of pushing and pulling, right? And I thought about doing that, but I'm like, you know what? I don't want to just be beat up today. I'm not going to do a lot of the extra stuff today. Let's just come in, get my basic lifts, my 4 basic lifts, some arm work, delt work, and my pullovers. I feel like I'm almost overdoing it when I try to add all that forearm work because my forearms are being worked ridiculously hard right now because we have to factor in it's not just all the pulling on the upper days. The lower days, I'm doing all those RDLs now without straps. I'm doing my leg raises hanging, and again, keeping in mind what I weigh. Every single day is a grip and forearm day, all 4 of my training days, right? All 4 of them. So I feel like trying to do extra forearm work is almost redundant at this point. I'm just getting so much of it, and they stay pumped anyways. I almost felt like I was overtraining my forearms with that week or so I did all that extra forearm work. And if anything, I'll do some hammer curls again. right? But I feel like my forearm training has gone up and up because now I'm even doing the RDLs. And if I add another set of those, then where are we? You know, we're doing 6 sets of grip work on lower days at that point. Because I mean, the leg raises, you know, same thing here. I do all these pull-ups, all these rows. They're all holding on. They're all for extended times. I'm doing all my pressing without straps. So I'm squeezing the bar as hard as possible. I get a forearm pump on that. You know, I think one of the things, the one reason maybe the incline is going a little tougher is because I'm trying to really pause on everything. I'm really controlling. Of course, I hit the upright there, which ruined that set. So I had to slide the bench a little further out. Finding that sweet spot's a little tough. Finding that sweet spot. You know, when you're putting an adjustable bench inside a rack. But again, so it's flat bench. It's incline bench, all of it raw, trying to do as longer ranges of motion as possible with my touch points, with my back position, trying to do it all strict. And I only feel chest on all of that, but I feel different parts of my chest on the two. But again, that tells me what's going on with triceps. My triceps and delts are strong enough that I don't feel them on any of that. You know, it's just all pec. So I need to keep hammering those movements, build the pecs, keep the pullovers in. I feel like my pecs do need to get bigger along with the triceps. But this stuff is building pecs. Look at the stretch and the range of motion I'm doing on all this stuff. Okay, it's putting a lot of tension on the pecs. But yeah, those triceps, I can tell from this angle. Got to keep getting the triceps up. And I feel like my stuff at the end helps because all this pressing, I mean, you guys have seen me close grip big weights in the past. I'm getting plenty of pressing. Part of me is like, oh, I could throw some JM presses in, but it's like, isn't that right back where I was? That long head really has to come up. But the pullovers, the full range of motion laying extensions, that's really what's going to hammer that long head. And I need to stay on top of those, consistently stay on top of those. Okay, and that's the thing. We don't need to add a bunch of special stuff in, and I've got to remind myself of that. We don't need, oh, I need to find this one magic exercise. Look, just get in and work the muscle consistently. Okay? Get in and work it consistently. So it was 3 sets of bench, 3 sets of incline, 3 sets of pull-ups, 3 sets of just bent over rows. Okay? To let me focus really on arms at the end because I really want the arm work to be a big deal. I'm like, let me just superset my laterals with my pullovers. If I'm not going to add a bunch of extra forearm work today, I don't know that I need it. I feel like I'm doing so much gripping that, again, it feels almost overtraining. And I'm not saying that's permanent. I may work some of it back in. But if I'm not going to do it, let's just superset the laterals with the pullovers, all this torso work done. Then I can do the last bit of the workout and just focus entirely on arms, focus on getting super high quality sets. And, you know, but some people would say, well, how are you prioritizing triceps and pecs with this? Because I do them first. So since all of the upper body is supersetted, I just do the pressing first, and then I do a pull, and then I rest, press, pull, rest. Same thing with the other arm work. Do triceps, and then do biceps after. In the supersets, prioritize it. But I think right here, again, that pullover, pecs and triceps, because I'm doing them straight arm, it takes a little bit off the lat. Puts a little bit more on the chest. If you do it more bent arm, it tends to be, I feel like a little more lat. But I need those areas to come up visually and strength-wise. I need that. I mean, really, let's talk about what it would take for me to have what people would consider a really good physique. Not for an old man, because I know I'm closing in on 50, but in general, tighten the waistline up. Bigger triceps, bigger pecs. Fuller, bigger pecs, top to bottom. More tricep, particularly that long head. Trim that waistline down another 4 inches. Okay? I think that would put me in a good place. You know? So I think for now, everything's just going to be balanced training with a slight bias towards pecs and triceps. I do need a little more quad work in, though. My quads probably do need to come up a bit again. They need to be where they were when I was heavier. But at a lower body fat, I think I'll be good there. So again, it's just going to be focusing on quality. And at this point, I know I'm not going to really gain much muscle while I'm cutting, but we're going to focus on building the work capacity and everything in those areas of range of motion, right? All those things, and see where we get with it, right? See where we get with it. But yeah, that's pretty much the game plan. So I think I really just need to have balanced training. I need to quit trying to, we need a bunch of, no, just train everything with a very mild bias towards pecs and long-headed tricep. That's it. And even the other thing with the lower body that's not biasing towards quads, it's making it more balanced, because I probably do more hamstring work than I do quad work right now, objectively. So, I'm thinking to maybe add some front squats, some high rep front squats, and just do whatever position and quit worrying about trying to rack it if I need to do cross arm or whatever. Just do whatever I need to do. Just do the lift. Because that's something I had to think about. I'd said a while back, I was considering working in as the shoulder health improves, cleans and snatches. But I'm like, but if I start doing all that, I've got to mess with hook grip. I'm a guitarist. My guitar is going to be really, really, really important to me moving forward. See the problem there? I don't want to risk that with the hook grip. So I'll just mix grip it. It's fine. Not a big deal. And that means I probably won't care a lot about Olympic lifts. Yeah. Maybe. That's subject to change, but it's stuff that I have to weigh out. These are things that we have to think about with our goals. Because nothing is in a vacuum. The rest of our lives affect all this stuff. All right, these extensions, I feel like I'm getting a good range of motion now, right? That shoulder mobility is improved. I feel like these are getting good range of motion. I'm really feeling a lot of tricep stretch on these, so I'm happy with this. I need to keep pushing these hard. I have to push these hard. Also, some other people pointed out, I had a couple people come in and say, I can do just as much, if not more, and you on those, and my triceps are smaller than yours, and I bench less than you. How is that? Like, how strict are you going? And keep in mind all the other work I'm also doing before that. So, look at what I just did before that. The triceps got worked on. We did 6 sets of pressing. So that's the thing I would say to those people. If I did heavier benching than you, like let's say my sets of 10 is, as heavy as your 5 rep max, and then I did incline after, how much work did my triceps have to do? A lot. These pullovers are stretching that long head. I'm using whatever I have left on the triceps when I get to those. Plus I have long arms. Same thing with the curling. That's a long lever with the length of my forearms. My wingspan is like 6'1". I've measured it before. Fairly long arms. So I'm moving those weights a pretty long distance against the levers. I have a leverage disadvantage, and that's fine. Hey, great, we can build more muscle with less weight. But again, as I've always pointed out, the downside, arms won't always look as big when you got longer arms like that. They've got to be bigger to look big. But what do you do, What do you do? The upside, I can deadlift a lot, right? So everything's a balance. It's funny how people always talk about genetics, like, oh, there's only one good set of genetics. They use this word genetics like it's either good or bad. And it's like, what are you guys talking about? Seriously, how many people talk about bodybuilders, pro bodybuilders having great genetics? Every single guy on the Olympia stage is shorter than average height. All of them. So using that logic, elite genetics means being short. Okay, think about that for a moment. That's hilarious. That an important elite genetic trait is to be below average height. Come on, guys. Shut up. That's silly. Till you comes a strong man, then you need to be 6'2" or taller. You need to be way above average. And I don't think people realize statistically how tall 6'2" is compared to the rest of the world, right? Because everyone lists their height wrong. Most guys don't actually know their real height, apparently. But you see the point, guys. Everything is give and take. So if your goal is to be in the NBA or to compete in strongman, being really tall is great genetics. If you want to be a high-level bodybuilder, being short is a good genetic trait. You see where I'm going? It's all silly. Same thing with calves. You want certain physiques having great calf genetics, which I do, is a good thing. If you want to be a marathon runner, having less muscle fibers, being born with less fibers in your calves has been proven to be a genetic advantage for marathon running. Just stop with this. It's all give and take. It's all balance. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.